I'm never usually the type to jump into new anime without knowing what I'm getting myself into. I tend to learn about a show, say I'll watch it for about a month, and if someone tells me to just watch it already, I delay it for another month and then maybe I'll give it a go. But for 2024, I wanted to go in blind for a bunch of shows that I didn't really have much or any background on. Shows like Gurren Lagann, Hunter x Hunter, and Fullmetal Alchemist are some examples. But with the time I had this year, I barely picked up any new releases, or even just picked up a show without being recommended it. That was until I saw Saint Saru began working on a new anime, and more importantly, their first manga adaptation. Now Saint Saru, I've followed them since Ping Pong the Animation, or technically their episodes of Adventure Time when I was younger. And if I'm being honest, I love everything they do, as they're a studio that provides a unique breath of fresh air in an oversaturated market of sloth animation. Devilman Crybaby is my favourite example of theirs, showcasing some of the most inspiring art and animation I've seen in a very long time. They're the 3 AM sip of cold filtered water on a Saturday, the number 2 that makes you feel like you've lost weight. So hearing that they'd adapt a manga for the first time already had me intrigued. What were they gonna be adapting, you ask? Dandadan.
You suckle my teats, boy, if you let me gobble your dung.
Okay, first of all, what on earth is a Dandadan? I know I wasn't the only one who was thinking it. What does that even mean? Well, Dandadan is a combination of 3 words shortened down to their last couple of letters, those being Kaidan, Kidan, and Taikendan. Kaidan means ghost story, Kidan means romantic or colourful story, and Taikendan means a story of one's hands-on experience, which, you guessed it, is exactly what Dandadan is. Simply put, Dandadan combines the 3 core genres in its name phenomenally well, and while not in its name, it's also very confident in its writing to branch into other genres from time to time in a very natural and free-flowing way, most notably with the obvious comedy and action elements that all shonen love. While this may seem ordinary, as plenty of anime have multiple genres, the difference is it having a really strong execution for all of these elements, rather than suffering at a fault of one genre being attempted and not being done too well. I found it rare having an anime with a good and natural balance of them all, and for just 12 episodes so far, it's been incredibly impressive. I don't think I've went through this many different emotions when watching a show this short while also enjoying my experience. I've laughed, cried, cringed, hated, loved, and everything that goes with being human. And that's why I feel like this show is so special. These are the types of expectations I come to have for the classic long-running shows, not for 12 episodes. This is luxury entertainment. And hats off to Yuki Nobutatsu. He's absolutely nailed it from a storytelling perspective, and props to Saint Saru for making me re-establish them as my favourite anime studio. Now, let's get into the thick of it and talk about my standout moments in the show. Lads, have you ever lost your banana? You ever lost your balls? Quite possibly. Yes. Well, fear not, men, as the plot of Dandadan is about fighting against those who steal our manlyhood, fighting to get our balls back, and fighting for our sacred area instead of it being treated as profane. We just need to fight a bunch of aliens and ghosts to get them back, yay! Aliens and ghosts alike have been trying to take people's banana organs for both men and women, with the aliens doing so to further advance their species. Now this is bad. Not only because aliens are trying to take their privates, but because they're being Minecraft YouTubers about it and having the smile of them too. And hey, I'll say it, maybe Margaret Thatcher was right about neglecting the miners. For those that are not from the UK who don't get the joke, she was the one who shut down all the coal mines pretty much anywhere north of London, leading to unemployment, poverty, mining towns falling behind the rest of the UK, and is why we absolutely hate her. It's terrifying imagining a bunch of aliens and ghosts trying to rob my sack. And I feel we all would want our areas to not be held hostage by some creepy insert YouTuber or celebrity looking freak. Like, the whole plot is about getting Okarune's willy back, and once he does, he then realizes his now lack of balls, and then it becomes a search to find his sealed away balls while solving other paranormal cases. And I won't be afraid to admit it, it's arguably the most hooked I've been for any show. I'm being serious, It absolutely slaps. From what me and others agree on, it's pretty much regular show for weebs. As the show generally is your typical regular slice of life, which then changes in an instant to the weirdest and crazy thing the writers could think of. This also shouldn't really come as a surprise, as the author previously worked with Fujimoto on Fire Punch. And I'm not getting into Fire Punch right now. Not a chance I'm doing that to myself. But you get the idea. He's worked on some bizarre stuff. So it's no surprise that this story is the way it is. It's honestly all I've ever wanted with an anime. Regular show is what I grew up on when I was a kid, and Chainsaw Man and the work of Fujimoto is what I enjoy mostly today. By the way, that trailer was crazy. Are you seeing this? It's the blend I've always wanted to see, but never even asked for, and it's just right. Listen, I'm a strong, muscular man. I like fighting. I like the burn you feel with gripped weights grazing your hands. But I may like a little bit of romance from time to time. I love a little bit of romance, which, from what I've seen, is actually rarely done well in shonen anime, and half the time makes me want to slam my head against a wall. None of that one-sided obsession, none of that toxic, manipulative, situationship kind of deal like most reality shows love to promote. Just a nice, honest romance with actual individuals who are their own people. The type to banter, be silly, and not change for the other person. The type that when you watch and makes the heart feel warmer, makes you smile slightly at a screen and kick your feet. And this kind of love comes from our main two characters, Momo and Okarun. Momo is more outgoing, confident, and simply put, pretty chill. Okarun is awkward and very annoyingly awkward, but has his special interests of being aliens. It's a love that begins through Momo stepping in the way of bullies, and then a wager to prove each other wrong that changes their lives forever. It starts off as a friendship formed through their togetherness of hard times they shared, and it grows into a friend-turned-lover's story as they grow more fond of each other and become more compatible over time. I really love how, despite its simplicity, it's executed in a way that can make you relate to both characters and feel happy knowing you're either not alone in these feelings currently that you may have for someone, or at least understand that your previous feelings were human or valid. It's real nice to watch, and that secondhand embarrassment at times shows how perfectly done it is. It's not just Momo and Okarun in love. There's also two gate crashers. Ira, who's a manipulative popular girl who I hated and then didn't mind after a single episode, which I'll get into soon, and who fell for Okarun confessing her love already with Okarun not being interested. And Jiji, who I absolutely hate. And no, not for the reasons you think. For why I hate him, I need to talk about myself real quick. I am a 6'4" energetic guy who loves football, plays Smash Bros, references old memes ironically, got told my face is overexpressive at times, gets told I'm really unfunny, and also has curtains for hair. And also, I originally found Jiji to be very annoying. I think I might hate myself. I ain't doing some he's literally me bullshit, but that's why I don't like the guy yet.
He copied my whole flow! Word for word, bar for bar!
Also, he fancies Momo, but Momo isn't interested if you didn't get that already. This is somewhat a double love triangle, or at least in Momo and Okarun's heads, with both of them thinking the person they fancy has got someone else wanting them. It's pretty sweet, and feels genuine, and is actually a likable group of characters, aside from Jiji. I hate him. This is a perfectly blended romance within the many layers of Dandadan, and is just so damn enjoyable. So I mentioned a couple aspects that I like, but now I think it's about time I talk about my favorite episode. Episode 7. Right, okay. What on earth happened to Yuki Nobutatsu to write this? Because I was sitting watching this show about a boy trying to retrieve his golden balls, and then this episode happened. It was genuinely the most emotional moment I've had with an anime episode since Vinland Saga, which is my favorite show of all time, by the way. I couldn't believe what I was watching, and honestly, it definitely made me shed a tear or two that I was never expecting to. Acrobatic Silky, a really creepy and jarring character to begin with, has a flashback that only shows like One Piece has been able to create to the level of for me. To create these emotions for a character I was more creeped out at to begin with honestly left me awestruck. She was just a mother trying her best to do what she could for her daughter, for then in an instant her being stolen away, and in an effort to save her, falls, proceeding to dance to her death. I don't exactly have words to describe how tragic this was to see. It's awful. It's realistic. And it hurts to watch seeing how much the mother cared for her daughter. I finished that episode in pure numbness, just staring at my screen knowing I'd witnessed the most heartbreaking anime episode of the year.
I'm gonna be something else. I'm gonna be something else. From here. I'm gonna be something else. From here. I'm gonna be something. Try my best, I did a good job. I'm good. I'm big and learned a lot. I'm gonna be something. I think it's time I start. I'm gonna be something.
What an episode. Anyways, Okurin got one of his testicles back. Let's go! One thing I thought to mention before I leave this episode was Ira. As yes, she doesn't do much here, but she went from being quite a hateable character to being one of the most enjoyable ones. And I'm honestly pretty intrigued to see where her character goes from here. Also, if people were confused and thought that she had spiritual powers as a kid already by touching acrobatic Silky, it's not that. It's more similar to how children are believed to have higher spiritual senses. So Ira was able to sort of see her when she was a child. Like when a kid has imaginary friends, they're actually seeing someone in their mind, as adults with less spiritual senses can't. In an era where children died often and medical care wasn't up to scratch, the belief that children were said to be protected by God was common, possibly as a way for mothers to cope when losing their children. Even though children were growing up as humans, they were still considered to be living in the spirit world. Their souls were not determined. So to their parents that believed in this, they didn't really die. As the saying goes, I will be in God's house until I'm 7 years old. That's how they coped with that pain. It's a really nice idea to implement, and I'm pretty sure it's in a fair bit of media. However, just thought I'd kind of clarify it considering the story is so paranormal. My overall feelings towards Dandadan is that I've never been obsessed with a show so quickly. I mean, the music goes hard, the bits go hard, the plot goes hard. Seiko, I'm not gonna finish that sentence, actually. The animation, oh my god, the animation goes hard. Everything has been peak, nothing's been weak, and honestly, it's my favourite show I've seen in a long while. The arc we've started and are continuing in July next year is already setting up to be very interesting. And while I want to read it already, I think it's better just me waiting 7 months or so for it, honestly. The adaptation is way too good to pass up on. I might read it after that, though. There's probably more to talk about in this video that I've definitely missed, but I might do a small little video essay on the second part anyways if this video does well. All I need to say now is Dandadan, you have spoiled me, and you are my anime of the year 2024. Hey, so this is my first video on this channel. I'm not someone who's used to making video essays, but they're my favourite videos to watch, so I thought I'd make them myself. I'm not expert at all. I'd argue I'm barely basic as a whole for my anime taste, and I'm just trying to expand my taste a lot more as this channel progresses. I also know that I didn't watch enough to say that it's the best anime of the year, but it'd take a whole lot of convincing from a show to be better than Dandadan, I won't lie. I won't only be talking about new shows or movies, by the way. I'll be going into a lot of the classics, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Oh yeah, I'm also a university student in their last year, so like videos will be infrequent, but my dissertation's already been completed, so I'll at least have some time to write videos, despite me not recording or editing them. If you're wondering what content creators like inspired me to do content creation in the first place, it's people like Etika and honestly a bunch of now cancelled people. He's the main one that I grew up on, but I don't really watch too much YouTube nowadays. Generally, like the only person that I watch on here nowadays is Grand Line Review, mainly because I'm just a grown-ass man who literally has no free time at all, but really wants to know what's recently happened in One Piece. I'm more art inspired than anything right now. I've been listening to a lot of Gorillaz and Blur, I'm on my Jet Set Radio and Sonic vibe at the moment too, and you'll definitely see a lot of that style implemented in my videos. This is a new beginning, so I hope you found this video to be great. I hope the video is so good that you're gonna subscribe as well. And yeah, as my inspiration for content creation used to outro his videos, take care of yourselves and have yourself a damn good one.